Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kenny, and folks, you can see that I'm up at my cabin. I'm getting ready to spend the night here. Folks, we have been experiencing some very severe weather. So many people have been without power. They have been struggling to stay warm. And it's been really an exhausting situation around here. Several people that I know of are still without power, and it's just an ongoing thing. The power companies are working as much as they can to get the power restored. But I'm at my off-grid cabin, and the sun is setting, and I'm getting ready to spend the night. So we want you to hang around, and I'm going to show you the inside of my cabin. And before I get too far into this, I want to suggest to you that if you've never spent the night in a log cabin and you've got the chance to do so, let me highly recommend it to you. It's an experience that you probably will never forget. And I'm serious about this. My cabin is functional, and it's an old-timey, primitive style cabin, and that's exactly what I like. As you can see, the snow is really melting, and the icicles are hanging down on it. And today we've seen the sunshine for the first time in maybe a week and a half, if not maybe just a little bit longer. But it's a great opportunity to spend a warm, cozy night in a nice warm cabin. So you hang around and we're going to show you tonight. It's going to be really cold. Now last night it was like 12 degrees early this morning with a wind chill in the single digits, of course. And tonight's going to be pretty much the same picture. So we're going to prepare to stay warm. And you hang around and listen. We appreciate you for watching our video. All right now, folks, I am inside my cabin. And many of you have seen my videos, of course. I'm getting ready to build a fire. That, of course, is priority. I've not built my fire yet, but I want to give you a quick shot of my cabin just in case that some of you may recognize it. You might have seen some of our videos. Now the sun is setting, and as you can see, it is very bright because I have got my cabin well lit. Now my cabin, folks, is nestled up on a mountaintop, and I'm talking about very close to the top of a mountain. And the sun sets, as you can see through the window, the sun sets and it is so pretty. And one of these days I'll get a beautiful red sunset and I'll share it with you because I love red sunsets and a beautiful red sunrise. I love those two types of settings. But I want to show you my cabin just to give you a small tour. Of course, here is my bunk beds. My cabin, folks, is 16 by 20, and it's very primitive. And of course, I've told you many times that that is exactly the way I want to keep it. Up here is the top layer of my bunk beds, and over here is the wall where I keep my pots, and of course, my big glass door. And over here, of course, is my table, as many of you can see, where I keep all of my junk and stuff on my table. And I'm just giving you a little tiny tour. Now up here is where I'm going to be sleeping. Now I'm not going to be sleeping on my bunk beds tonight because it's going to be extremely cold. And I want to get up there in the loft where all of the heat will be. Because when it gets down as cold as it's going to get tonight, and you're on a mountaintop in a cabin, let me tell you, the loft where the heat settles is where you want to be. Now that's why I'm sleeping in the loft tonight. I've got a big blown up full-size mattress and a couple of thick blankets, and I will be moving up there in a short time. Now I've already had dinner, and I've got some time to spend around outside before dark. So I'm going to go back outside and just enjoy the beautiful sunset that I've got. Now this is my stairwell, which you can see it's just a primitive homemade ladder. And I can tell you that is made out of sawed lumber with a chainsaw mill. And of course it's got 2 logs about 4 or 5 inches in diameter, and that's plenty. This is about 8 feet tall, this loft is. And of course it's very, very strong. So I'm going to go back outside, and I'll be back inside in a few minutes, and I'm going to be building a fire. It's really warm in here. It's only, I think it's going to get down in the maybe the upper teens tonight, if not a little bit lower. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I'm going to be building a fire very shortly, so I will be back in a little while. All right, now folks, we are getting this fire started. It's going to feel really great because it is dark outside and it's getting really chilly. It's going to be a super cold night. Folks, as you can see now, my fire is roaring. It's nice and hot. My cabin is getting really, really warm. It's getting kind of late in the evening. It won't be long until we will be ready to hit the hay or hit the sack or whatever you call it. But before I go to bed, folks, let me say I love to relax in front of a beautiful, hot, burning fire. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. There's nothing back here in this mountain, folks, where my cabin is located. Nothing back here but birds. Of course, we have some wild turkeys. We've got a ton of coyotes. We've got some bobcats. We've got a few bears. And of course, we've got elk and deer. And that's, except for a lot of squirrels and stuff like that, that's pretty much what we have in wildlife. And the bears, they are a few of them that live right here in these mountains. In fact, about a half a mile from here, several has been spotted on camera, but not a real big threat. not a real big threat to humans. Black bears are, well, you don't want to mess with a mama bear and her cubs, of course. Everybody knows that. But other than that, I think black bears are relatively safe. Around here, there's not been any reported cases of wanting to harm humans. But this fire is really, really going well, and my cabin is heating up, and it won't be long until I'll be ready to go to bed. And it takes a while for a roaring fire like this to really, really get hot. But once it gets hot, it stays hot. Now you can see the rest of my cabin is kind of dark. But it's light enough to where that you can actually tell the spots that I'm pointing the camera. This is an experience, folks, for me as well as a lot of other people. These are my steps that I will be going up to my loft in a few minutes. Back here I'm using a flashlight. Right up here I want to show you my heat source. Right up there. I apologize for the dim lights, but that's my flue. That's going to produce a lot of heat for me in my loft. It's a continuous heat source. It's about a 1/2 inch stick, round, about 8 to 10 inches in diameter, and it really does let a lot of heat escape into the room, especially up here in the loft area. Now that is really something to keep you warm. That's where I'll get my heat from tonight. So I wanted to share this fire with you. Now folks, it is warm inside my cabin. And I'm getting out of my heavy clothes and I'm getting ready to hit the sack. Oh. Now folks, I'm telling you, this is the most peaceful, the most comfortable, and I'm talking about peace and quiet, that the average person right now, all across the country, all across the world, this is so peaceful. This is an environment to where that you can sleep sound. You know the old phrase, sleep as sound as a baby? To me that is so important because there's not many peaceful places that you can find anymore to where that you can just totally let your mind be at ease. And you can fall asleep and just wake up feeling like a human again, wake up so refreshed, and your day you're ready to take on any challenge that's out there that the world throws at you. All right, folks, I could talk on and on and on, but I'm in the loft of my cabin. I'm covered up with a couple of good blankets. I've got a nice soft pillow, and it's about time to turn the lights out. When the lights go out, I go out because I like to sleep in total darkness. Really, really dark. But right now this is very, very kind of glowy light, and it's not really that bright, but it's just right for sleeping. but this is the most comfortable place on the planet. All right, folks, I am going to say good night. I know I've got my boggin still on, but I'm going to say good night, and listen, you have a great night, and we will see you in the morning, okay? Bright and early. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, folks. How are you today? I've been up, folks, for about a half hour before daylight. It's kind of cool here in my cabin this morning. I let my fire go just about completely out. And it's a little bit chilly this morning. But I'm getting ready to have some hot tea and warm up real good, because I've been outside and it's in the teens. So let me get my hot water. Here we go. This is hot and ready. Now let me put that back on the stove. Look at the steam from that hot water. I'm telling you, that's hot. As you probably know, I am not really a coffee drinker. Look at the steam from that tea. Wow. I drink a lot of green tea. I drink a lot of herbal teas. A ton of herbal teas. One of my favorite, of course, is green tea. I also drink other teas. Moringa. I love moringa tea. And of course, I love nettle tea. Now I'm getting ready to get some breakfast here in a few minutes. I'm going to cook up some breakfast. I've got my stove really hot this morning, because I did let it get really low last night, and my cabin is not as tight as I want it to be, which I will be doing that, of course, a little bit later. Actually, in just a few days, I've got to put some more insulation to make it a whole lot tighter. Now, it stays a whole lot warmer up in the loft, of course, because up there, all your heat is gathered in up there. That's why you can sleep so cozy in the loft. And I had a couple of blankets, and let me tell you, it's very warm up there right now. All of your heat is settled in up there. Here's to your health. Good green tea. I drink this during the morning, and of course, sometimes in the afternoon. I want to talk to you a little bit, if I may. It cost me I put about $1,000 into building this cabin. And so many of you, you're struggling with a mortgage. And mortgages are so hard to meet these days. They are so expensive. And a 30-year mortgage, to me, that's unimaginable. I've got about $1,000 in this cabin. It's a 16 wide, 20 feet long. And I can tell you, $1,000 to me, that's expensive. But that's what it cost me to insulate this cabin and put it together. And I'm talking about the nails were so expensive. See, I put this together with huge spikes about a foot long. And I built it in 2017, and those things back then, they cost about $1 a piece. So I've got a lot of spikes. And now they would probably cost you about $3. But this is an alternative to me, a log cabin. Now I own another home, of course, but I don't have a mortgage. And I am grateful to God that I don't have a mortgage, because these days people are struggling, especially with the pandemic. They're struggling to meet their mortgage payments, and of course with rent. I am just grateful that I don't have any mortgage. But to have the option of living in a cabin like this, to me, it is a luxury. It is a luxury. And if you have an opportunity, if you live in a region where you own land and you own timber and trees, I've got about 40 or 50 logs surrounding. Actually, there's about 45 logs. Up to my loft, it's about 8 feet up to the loft with the ladder that goes up to the loft. There's about 45 logs on each side of the cabin. And like I said, it is so quiet back here. And you own your own log cabin, and it's a luxury. And I've got about $1,000 in it. And let me tell you, that is relatively cheap, extremely cheap, because most people build a huge cabin and they've got thousands of dollars in it. And to me, that's a luxury that I just don't want to, well, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Absolutely not. I'll take my small cabin with lots of space. 5, 6 people can live in a cabin this size. And that's why I'm saying so many people are moving into stuff like this, like a cabin in a small, tiny house, because it's nothing compared to having a great big mortgage. So I thought I would share that with you. I'm going to finish my tea, and then I'm going to cook up some breakfast. All right, now folks, we are going to crack some eggs here. Put my oil in my pan, just a little. Now that's a little bit hot, just a little bit too hot. Oh, yes. Doesn't take very long, folks, to cook a breakfast. These are farm fresh, folks. That's what makes them so much better. So I am going to chow down on some breakfast, folks. And listen, I appreciate you for watching our videos. I enjoyed spending time with you here. I've enjoyed this tremendously. I wanted to bring you along for this night, this cold, cold winter night at my cabin. And I hope that you have enjoyed the video, and I've enjoyed bringing it to you. So I'm going to get my eggs off, and I'm going to chow down. And listen, you might be a brand new viewer. If you are, and you like this, give us a big thumbs up and ring that bell. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. And listen, we certainly appreciate it. And as always, listen, you have a wonderful, blessed day, and we will talk to you later.